Carnivore Diet for Beginners. A step-by-step guide, USA grocery list. Have you ever felt like you've done everything right, cut the junk, ate the greens, chased every health trend, yet you still feel inflamed, tired, and deeply frustrated? What if the solution to your lifelong health puzzle wasn't about adding more complexity to your diet, but about stripping it down to the simplest, most fundamental human fuel: meat? This is the highly specific, actionable, and comprehensive guide you need to stop guessing and start healing. I am MS Mirza from Carnivore Cure. Welcome! If you're new here, subscribe, like, comment, and share. It truly helps us cut through the noise and get this life-changing information to the people who need it most. We're about to map out your entire beginner journey, starting with the exact products you'll find in any major USA supermarket, so you can walk in with confidence and walk out with your health transformation already underway. Section 1. The Why: Filling the Biggest Content Gap. Mainstream nutrition is saturated with warnings about saturated fat and cholesterol, but it almost entirely ignores the single greatest driver of modern chronic illness: dietary-driven systemic inflammation. They tell you to eat a balanced diet, which often means trading processed grains and sugar for a heavy dose of irritating plant defense chemicals like oxalates and lectins. The carnivore diet fills this monumental content gap by focusing on comprehensive elimination. It's not just a high-protein diet, it's the ultimate elimination diet that removes the vast majority of known food irritants simultaneously. This gives your highly stressed gut and overwhelmed immune system the first real vacation it's had in years. Think of your body like a smoky fire alarm. Mainstream diets just keep adjusting the air conditioning. The carnivore diet says, let's find out what's on fire and put it out. When you remove the endless stream of irritants, your body finally gets the peace it needs to focus on repair, leading to improvements in areas you didn't even know were related to food, from joint pain to mental clarity. The power of elimination, not moderation. For people struggling with autoimmune diseases, chronic pain, or mood disorders, moderation is just another path to continued suffering. If you have a severe allergy, you don't eat a little bit of the allergen every day. The carnivore diet offers the chance for a true reset, allowing you to identify your body's baseline of health for the first time. This is the foundational principle mainstream advice completely misses. You are resetting your immune system's default setting from alert to all clear. Section 2. The Shopping Mission, USA Beginner Grocery List. Walking into a massive US supermarket like Kroger, Walmart, or Safeway can be overwhelming when you're starting a new diet. The key is to simplify. We are focusing on the most accessible, affordable, and nutrient-dense options you can find in any standard American grocery store. The foundation: ruminants and fat. The absolute core of the carnivore diet should be ruminant meat: beef, lamb, bison, because it is generally the least inflammatory, the most nutrient-dense, and contains the highest concentration of bioavailable nutrients like heme iron, zinc, and vitamin B12. Beef, ruminant. Your staple is 80/20ths ground beef, the staple. It's affordable, versatile, and high in the fat you need for energy. Also look for fatty cuts like chuck roast, ribeye steak, and brisket. For cooking, stock up on beef tallow. Affordable, high-fat fuel is the name of the game. Buy in bulk, family packs, and freeze your ground beef portions. Poultry, focus on the fat. This means chicken thighs, skin on, and chicken wings. Make sure they have no added sugar or sauce. You can cook these using duck fat for extra flavor and satiety. Remember, chicken breast is too lean for a beginner and should be avoided initially. Fish, seafood. These add crucial omega-3s and iodine. Look for canned sardines, in water or olive oil. Strictly avoid vegetable, seed oils, and wild-caught salmon fillets. The fattier the cut, the better. Sardines are cheap, shelf-stable, and an incredible nutritional cheat code. Fats, dairy. Use these for cooking and adding density. We recommend ghee, butter, grass-fed preferred, and lots of eggs. Eggs are nature's perfect food and provide variety and essential choline. If you tolerate dairy, small amounts of aged, low-lactose cheese, like aged cheddar, are optional, but stick to butter, ghee for the first 30 days. Essentials. You must have sea salt or Himalayan pink salt and ample water. Salt is non-negotiable. You will need significantly more salt than before to manage electrolytes. Anecdote 1. The ruminant power-up. Sarah, she shifted her focus entirely to beef and lamb. Her budget success came from mastering the chuck roast. She learned to slow cook one huge chuck roast on Sunday, which provided shredded beef for 4 days. She'd use the drippings to cook her eggs in the morning and save the bones to make a simple, nutritious bone broth. By focusing on large, inexpensive ruminant cuts, she maintained variety, flavor, and her budget. Section 3. The first 30 days. Navigating the Carnivore Flu. This is the most critical section for any beginner. The first 1 to 2 weeks can be rough, but knowing what's happening will save you from quitting. The Keto flu is a transition, but on carnivore, the symptoms can be more intense due to the zero-carb, zero-fiber commitment. Electrolyte Mastery, the game changer. When you cut all carbohydrates, your body's insulin levels drop drastically. Low insulin signals the kidneys to stop holding onto sodium and water, causing you to flush out massive amounts of fluid and, critically, essential electrolytes: sodium, potassium, magnesium. Symptoms: headaches, fatigue, dizziness, muscle cramps, and heart palpitations. This is not a sign the diet is failing, it's a sodium deficiency. The fix: you must proactively consume salt. A minimum baseline is 4,000 to 7,000 milligrams of sodium per day during the first 2 weeks. That's about 2 to 3 teaspoons of salt, generously sprinkled over your food and in water. Add a pinch of salt to your water several times a day. This simple, actionable step eliminates 90% of the carnivore flu symptoms. Hydration and digestion adjustment. Because you are no longer consuming volume-based plant fiber, your bathroom habits will change. Expect constipation or loose stools initially. Loose stools, most common, often caused by the sudden increase in fat intake, bile production needs to catch up, and a lack of salt. Slowly increase your fat intake and ensure your sodium is high enough. Constipation, often related to not eating enough fat or not drinking enough water. Do not fear the fat. Fat is your fuel and your movement regulator. The ultimate carnivore beginner mistake is undereating. Your body is switching from an inefficient sugar-burning engine to a highly efficient fat-burning engine. Eat until you are stuffed and don't worry about meal timing or portion control initially. Listen to your body's genuine hunger cues. Section 4. Structure, variety, and plate composition. One of the biggest misconceptions about the carnivore diet is that it's boring and consists only of dry chicken breast. This is fundamentally wrong. The carnivore diet is about embracing animal fat and the incredible diversity of animal sources beyond just steak. The plate blueprint, the meat-to-fat ratio. For maximum energy, satiety, and symptom resolution, you must prioritize fat. Focus ratio. Aim for roughly a 1-to-1 fat-to-protein ratio by weight or a 70 to 80% fat-to-calorie ratio. This means your food shouldn't look lean. Application. If you eat a lean cut like top sirloin, you must compensate by adding significant external fat like butter, tallow, or ghee to that meal. Fattier cuts like ribeye inherently provide this ratio. Meal ideas: the beef and butter, standard. Fatty ribeye or chuck steak seared in tallow, topped with a generous slab of grass-fed butter, heavily salted. The weekend fry up: eggs, scrambled or fried in tallow. Chicken thighs cut into strips, instead of bacon. Optional sprinkle of aged cheddar. The budget bowl. Large bowl of 80/20ths ground beef cooked in its own fat, heavily salted, and perhaps mixed with a couple of raw egg yolks for maximum nutrient punch. The seafood fix. Wild-caught salmon, rich in fat, cooked in butter, served with a side of hard-boiled eggs. Anecdote 2. The taste bud revolution. James, who previously relied on highly seasoned food, thought a salt-only diet would be misery. He quickly learned that when you remove artificial flavors and sugar, your palate resets completely. He replaced his old sugary snacks with crunchy, high-fat beef crisps, dehydrated beef slices, and discovered the rich, subtle, umami flavor of a quality ribeye. His taste buds became so sensitive that after 3 weeks, his old, favorite, processed snacks tasted overwhelmingly artificial and sickly sweet. He realized his addiction wasn't to flavor, but to inflammatory plant compounds and sugar. Section 5. Responsible carnivore, setting expectations. We must be responsible. I'm not a doctor. Consult a healthcare professional before making major diet changes, especially if you have pre-existing conditions, kidney issues, or are on medication. The data supporting this diet is primarily based on case studies, robust self-reported data, and biological mechanisms that align with current science on inflammation. The missing piece: organ meats. This is where the mainstream carnivore community often falls short, potentially leading to long-term nutritional gaps. Beef muscle meat is fantastic, but organ meats are a nutritional cheat code. Nutrient gap. While meat has B vitamins, certain nutrients like vitamin C, folate, and vitamin A, retinol, are found in concentrated amounts only in organs. The fix: incorporate beef liver, raw, frozen, or cooked, into your routine at least 1 to 2 times per week. You don't need much. A small 1 to 2 ounces portion a few times a week covers most essential vitamins. If you absolutely can't stomach the taste, freeze-dried organ supplements are widely available in the USA. Organ meat is the ultimate nutritional insurance policy for a long-term carnivore lifestyle. Advanced tip: monitoring biomarkers. After 60 to 90 days, schedule a follow-up with your physician for a comprehensive metabolic panel, CMP, and lipid panel. The content gap. Mainstream medical models often panic at the cholesterol markers, LDL, often seen on a high-fat diet. A true content gap is failing to look at the context, specifically, triglycerides, HDL, and VLDL particle size. The science shows that on a very low-carb diet, LDL particles often become larger, fluffier, and less atherogenic, less harmful. Your doctor needs to look at the whole picture, not just the single LDL number. Quick-fire FAQ, beginner hurdles. Q. Will I get scurvy or a fiber deficiency? A. No. Scurvy is vitamin C deficiency. When you eliminate glucose, carbs, your body's need for vitamin C drops dramatically because glucose and C compete for absorption. Fresh muscle meat, especially liver, contains sufficient vitamin C to prevent deficiency. Fiber is not an essential nutrient. It's non-digestible. Eliminating fiber often leads to improved gut health for people with IBS or IBD because the gut has fewer irritants to process. Q. Do I need to buy expensive grass-fed, finished meat? No, but it's a quality goal. Start with what your budget allows. Conventional ground beef is perfectly fine. The elimination of inflammatory plants is the primary driver of healing. Once you are stable, you can upgrade to grass-fed, finished beef, which often offers better omega-3 ratios and nutrient profiles, as your budget allows. Q. What about seasonings? Just salt? Start with salt and water only for the first 30 days. This is your truest elimination phase. After 30 days, if your symptoms have cleared, you can slowly reintroduce single spices like black pepper, or specific herbs to check for tolerance. Many people find they're sensitive to certain plant-based spices. Conclusion: your step-by-step success. You have the map. The journey starts in the supermarket aisle, focusing on the simple power of animal foods readily available right here in the USA. The carnivore diet is not restrictive, it's focused. It is the intentional removal of chaos to give your body the exact nutrient-dense fuel and immune system rest it needs to finally thrive. We've covered the common mistakes, electrolytes, the budget savers, ground beef, and the essential insurance policy, organ meats. Now, it's time to take action. Your success starts today. If this guide has inspired you to try the carnivore diet, hit the like button, leave a comment below sharing your first grocery haul item, and subscribe for more deep dives into the science of true healing. I'm not a doctor. Consult a healthcare professional before making major diet changes, especially if you have pre-existing conditions or are on medication.